In a small, broken village lived a young boy named Tunde. Every morning before sunrise, he woke up to care for his sick mother. She was all he had left after his father mysteriously disappeared years ago. Tunde had one special gift, a voice so powerful it could move people to tears. But he never sang in public. He was too shy, too afraid, and too poor to believe his gift could change anything. But Tunde was hiding something even darker. Behind his chest was a strange mark he had carried since birth. His mother warned him never to show it to anyone. They must never see it, she always said. But she never explained why. People whispered that the mark carried the misery behind his existence. And every time Tunde asked about it, the room fell silent. Tunde was told he is a son of fate. Even before he understood what it meant, he knew something was not normal. Whenever he went to the stream to fetch water, the women would leave the river until he finished. He was not allowed to play with other children. No friends. No laughter. No one to talk to. And that hurt the most. One day, he finally asked his sick mother, "Why are people afraid of me?" She looked at him quietly and said, "They are not afraid of you, Tunde. They are waiting. And one day, you will understand why." Then she added softly, "If they are truly afraid of you, why do they still protect you?" Tunde paused. He remembered the day he fell into the stream. Weak, drowning, unable to swim. And the same villagers who avoided him saved his life. But one question never left his mind. Why don't they talk to me, like other children? And for the first time, Tunde noticed something strange. Someone was watching him from the forest. Today, Tunde wanted answers. Why did he have a strange mark on his shoulder? Why was he warned never to show it to anyone, not even the villagers? And why did people avoid him? But what frightened him the most was the feeling that someone was always watching him from the forest. Whenever Tunde was alone, he felt free. That was when he sang. His voice was beautiful, powerful enough to calm his pain. But no one in the village knew. The woods had become his safe place, a place where he could forget his loneliness. The next morning, after finishing the house chores and giving his sick mother her medicine, Tunde asked softly, "Mother, may I go to the woods?" His mother looked at him carefully. "You may go, my son," she said, "but make sure no one sees the mark on your shoulder. Do not speak to strangers, and return before nightfall." Tunde nodded happily and ran into the woods. As usual, he made sure nobody was around. Then, he began to sing. The birds gathered around him like an audience. For the first time all day, Tunde smiled. But as evening approached, he suddenly heard a strange sound behind him. His heart raced. He thought the shadow watching him had finally appeared. Tunde turned quickly. But instead, he saw a small baby tortoise hiding beneath the bushes. Alone. Abandoned. Tunde slowly picked it up and whispered, "Where is your father? Did he leave you too, like mine?" Tears filled his eyes. And deep in the forest, something was watching him. Tunde wiped his tears and decided to take the tortoise home. He gently placed it inside his bag and began walking back from the woods. But suddenly, the trees began to shake violently. Tunde froze in fear. Branches cracked around him as strange sounds echoed through the forest. Without thinking twice, he ran as fast as his legs could carry him. Back in the village, the people watched in confusion. "What is chasing him?" they whispered. "Why is he running?" But no one had the courage to ask him. Tunde finally reached home, breathing heavily. He carefully placed the little tortoise inside a small box beside his bed and whispered, "You must never go outside. You must stay hidden. The world is cruel. You and I were both abandoned." When Tunde looked around, his mother was nowhere to be seen. He assumed she had gone to get more medicine from the pharmacist because the drugs she had taken earlier were the last remaining ones. Quietly, Tunde continued his house chores. He prepared dinner, took his bath, fed the tortoise, and went to bed. But Tunde carried a terrible secret. He had two strange marks on his body, one behind his chest easy to hide, and another on his shoulder, a mark he was warned never to let anyone see. Only his mother knew the truth. But that night, something felt different. Tunde suddenly woke up in pain. A burning sensation spread across his shoulder. Then, slowly, the mark began to glow. Golden light filled the dark room. Tunde screamed in agony. His mother, who had returned home moments earlier, rushed into the room in panic. Quickly, she covered his shoulder with a cloth before anyone outside could see the light. Then she dragged him into a hidden room deep inside the house and locked the door. Tunde cried in pain as the golden mark continued to shine. His mother held his face tightly and whispered, "They must never know. Keep your voice down, my son. The pain will soon disappear." Tunde remained trapped inside the dark hidden room. His shoulder burned with unbearable pain. Sweat covered his body as tears rolled down his face. Even though his mother had promised the pain would disappear soon, it only grew worse. To hide the glowing mark, she wrapped layers of cloth tightly around his shoulder. But the golden light still leaked through the fabric. Meanwhile, inside Tunde's bedroom, the little tortoise noticed his absence. Something felt wrong. Slowly, it climbed out of the box and crawled across the floor toward the hidden room. Then, suddenly, a loud knock echoed through the house. Tunde's mother froze. Fear filled her eyes. Did someone see the light? She whispered to herself. Did they hear Tunde scream? Quickly, she locked the hidden room and rushed outside. She shut all the windows and sat silently beside the door, praying the person outside would leave. But then, another knock came. Stronger this time. With trembling hands, she slowly looked through the small hole in the door. It was one of the village market women. Tunde's mother became even more afraid. Why is she here? She thought. She never speaks to me. Why would she come to my house at this hour? Carefully, she opened the door. The woman stood there breathing heavily, as though she had been running. "Mrs. Lillian, please help me," the woman cried. "My son has been vomiting badly. I went to the village pharmacy, but it was already closed. Someone told me you bought medicine there today. Please, do you have anything that can help him survive the night?" Tunde's mother wanted her gone immediately. Without wasting time, she rushed inside, brought out some medicine, and handed it to her. "Thank you," the woman said before hurrying away into the darkness. Tunde's mother quickly shut the door and sat beside it in silence. But while she was distracted outside, the little tortoise finally reached the hidden room. It quietly crawled toward Tunde and climbed onto his hand. Tunde looked at it weakly. "Go away," he whispered painfully. "I don't want you to see me like this." But the tortoise did not move. Instead, it slowly climbed onto Tunde's chest and rested there quietly. Moments later, Tunde finally fell asleep. Outside the room, his mother remained restless. Her mind raced with fear. Why did that woman come to my house out of every house in the village? Why tonight? What if she heard Tunde scream? What if she saw the light? And for the first time in many years, Tunde's mother feared that the village was beginning to suspect the truth. The next morning, bad news spread across the village. The market woman's son had died during the night. Tears and sorrow filled the village streets. People gathered outside the woman's house, whispering fearfully among themselves. This was no ordinary death, some said. Meanwhile, Tunde slowly opened his eyes. He found himself back in his bedroom, lying on his bed. His mother must have carried him out of the hidden room after he fell asleep. Surprisingly, the pain in his shoulder was gone. His body felt completely normal again. Beside him sat his mother quietly. The moment she saw him awake, she smiled gently, kissed his forehead, and said, "My son, do not worry about the house chores today. Rest as much as you can. You suffered enough last night." She helped him brush his teeth, prepared warm water for his bath, and served him breakfast. But there was sadness in her eyes. Then she finally spoke. "The woman who came here last night. Her son died before morning." Tunde froze. His mother lowered her voice. "The villagers are mourning. People said the boy had been acting strangely for days before his condition became worse yesterday night. They did not believe it was a normal death. Then her expression became serious. Tunde, you must keep the marks hidden. The one behind your chest. And the one on your shoulder. You are a son of fate. You must protect yourself even more than I protect you. Tunde looked down silently. For years, he had heard whispers about a child carrying a mysterious mark. People said the mark carried the secret behind the bearer's existence. But nobody ever explained anything to him. He had obeyed his mother all his life. He never showed the marks to anyone. Yet the villagers still avoided him. They left the stream whenever he arrived. Children refused to play with him. Nobody came close. And now, he wanted answers more than ever. Tears filled his eyes as he looked at his mother. Please tell me the truth, he begged. But his mother only sighed sadly. Tunde. Sometimes not knowing the truth gives you peace. The villagers do not know you carry the mark. And that is all that matters. Tunde became angry. For the first time, frustration filled his heart. Without another word, his mother stood up and walked away. Then suddenly, Tunde remembered the tortoise. Fear entered his heart. What if it had crawled outside during the night? He remembered warning it never to leave the house. Quickly, he rushed to the hidden room. But the tortoise was not there. Panic filled his chest. He searched around desperately until finally, he looked inside the small box beside his bed. The tortoise was there. Safe. Tunde picked it up carefully and held it close. You are my only friend, he whispered tearfully. Please. Do not abandon me. Do not disappear mysteriously like my father. And quietly, Tunde began to cry. After the market woman's son died, fear spread across the village. People stayed indoors after sunset, and the village seer warned everyone to report anything strange. But Tunde refused to stop visiting the woods. It was the only place where he felt free. On the day of the boy's burial, Tunde secretly slipped away with his tortoise and ran into the forest. There, he began to sing. Birds gathered around him, and for a moment, all his worries disappeared. Then, suddenly, the birds flew away. The forest fell silent. Someone was there. A figure covered from head to toe stepped out from the shadows. Tunde panicked. Stay away from me, he shouted. The stranger raised a hand. I mean no harm. Slowly, the figure removed the cloth covering her face. Tunde was shocked. It was a young girl. My name is Amuro, she said. You've been following me. Tunde accused. Yes, she replied. Before she could explain, a loud crack echoed through the forest. Amuro quickly covered Tunde's mouth. Quiet. The shadow watches. If it hears us, we are both in danger. Tunde's heart raced. Who are you? He asked. I am from the lost tribe, she replied. Then she pointed at the tortoise. You think you found him by accident. Tunde looked confused. We sent him to you. We saw your loneliness. And we knew you needed a friend. For the first time in his life, Tunde felt understood. Then Amuro revealed a strange mark on her shoulder. Tunde gasped. You have one too. Amuro nodded. You are not alone, Tunde. She quickly covered the mark again. You must go home. And never show your mark to anyone. As she turned to leave, Tunde called after her. Will I see you again? Amuro smiled. You won't find me. I will find you. Then she whispered. One day, you will discover who you truly are. But until then, beware of the shadow. Moments later, she disappeared into the forest. Tunde stood frozen. The lost tribe. The marks. The shadow. Nothing made sense. As he ran back toward the village, he never noticed the glowing eyes watching from the trees. And for the first time, the shadow smiled. That night, while the villagers slept peacefully after the burial, the village seer sat alone before the ancient temple. The night was unusually quiet. Rows of candles burned before the statues of the gods as he prayed. Protect this village, he whispered. "Protect our children." Suddenly, a violent wind swept through the temple. Every candle went out. The seer froze. Slowly, he relit them. But once again, the wind returned. The flames died instantly. Darkness filled the temple. The seer's hands began to shake. Then a voice emerged from the shadows. "You seek protection from gods that do not answer." The seer's eyes widened. "Who are you?" A dark figure slowly appeared. Its shape twisted like living smoke. "I know your heart. I know your desires." The seer remained silent. The shadow moved closer. "For years you have wanted power. You have wanted respect. You have wanted people to fear your name." The seer swallowed hard. The words were true, but he remained silent. Then the shadow spoke again. "I can give you everything." The temple trembled. "I can make you the most powerful man alive." The seer stared at the darkness. For a moment, temptation entered his heart. But then he remembered the villagers, the children, the families who trusted him. Slowly, he stood up. "No." The shadow became silent. "I will not betray my people." The darkness around the temple grew heavier. The shadow's voice became cold. "Think carefully. I am offering you greatness." The seer shook his head. "My duty is to protect this village. I will never help you." For a moment, everything became still. Then the shadow laughed. A terrifying sound echoed through the temple. "You believe you have a choice." The seer's fear returned. The shadow moved closer. "If you will not serve me willingly, then watch what happens." Suddenly the temple wall shook. Far away, screams echoed through the night. The seer rushed outside. A cold wind swept across the village. The shadow's voice followed him. "There is a child in this village. A child carrying a mark. The chosen one. I will find him. And when I do, your village will suffer for your refusal." The shadow vanished. The seer stood frozen. Fear filled his heart. Meanwhile, a woman walking near her farm suddenly collapsed. Healthy crops began to wither. Animals became sick. And darkness slowly spread through the village. The seer looked toward the sleeping homes. For the first time in many years, he felt powerless. And somewhere in the village, Tunde slept peacefully, unaware that a terrible force had begun searching for him. That same night, while Tunde slept peacefully, his mother could not sleep. A terrible nightmare had awakened her. She felt danger was coming, but she did not know where it was coming from. Quietly, she entered Tunde's room and sat beside him. Looking at his innocent face brought tears to her eyes. Then memories of the past returned. Years ago, she arrived in the village carrying a 3-month-old baby. That baby was Tunde. She pretended to be a poor beggar woman seeking help. But the truth was very different. According to village tradition, every firstborn son had to be bathed in the sacred river. Fear gripped her heart. If anyone removed Tunde's clothes, they would see the marks on his body. To protect him, she lied. She told the villagers that Tunde carried a dangerous disease from birth. Immediately, parents warned their children to stay away from him. No one played with him. No one came close. And the truth remained hidden. As years passed, she accepted the lowest jobs in the village. She cleaned houses and listened carefully to the stories people told. One day, she learned about an ancient prophecy. It spoke of a child carrying mysterious marks, a child known as the Son of Fate. The prophecy said the boy would come from a powerful and wealthy bloodline. Most villagers believed it was only a folktale. But Tunde's mother knew the prophecy was real. Every detail matched her son. That was why she hid him. That was why she buried the truth. And that was why she allowed Tunde to grow up believing he was nobody. A lonely boy. A forgotten boy. Anything was better than letting the world discover who he truly was. Tears filled her eyes. She gently touched his hair. "My sweet child," she whispered, "what would you do without me? I must protect you, no matter the cost." Suddenly, a cold wind entered the room. The candle beside the bed went out. For the first time in many years, Tunde's mother felt truly afraid. Because deep down, She knew someone was coming for her son. The village seer stood alone in the temple. For days he had resisted the shadow's voice, but each night its promises grew stronger. Power, fear, control, everything he had ever desired. That night the shadow returned. "You cannot resist forever," it whispered. "What do you want from me?" the seer asked. "The marked child. Find him and bring him to me." The seer hesitated. "If I do this, will I have power?" The shadow laughed. "You will have everything." And in that moment, something inside the seer broke. The next morning the village bell rang loudly. People gathered in fear. Too many deaths. Too many strange events. Too many unanswered questions. Inside her home, Tunde's mother heard the bell. And immediately, she hid Tunde inside the dark room. "Stay here. Do not move. Do not make a sound. Do not come out until I return." She locked the door and left. At the village square, the seer faced the frightened crowd. "My people, something unnatural walks among us." The villagers murmured, "Tell us who it is." The seer raised his hand. "Silence. The problem is already among us." Fear spread through the crowd. The villagers began looking at one another. Then the seer returned from the temple carrying a red cloth. "The gods have revealed something. A curse is among us." The crowd fell silent. This curse takes the form of a child. A child with a strange mark. Gasps filled the air. The seer continued. "He is the cause of every death. The sickness. The darkness. The suffering." Tunde's mother froze. She immediately knew something was wrong. The seer had changed. But she remained silent. "If we do not find him," the seer shouted, "more people will die. The crops will rot and our animals will perish." Panic erupted. "What shall we do?" the villagers cried. The seer pointed toward the village gate. "No one leaves this village. The borders are sealed. And tomorrow every child must come forward. Every boy. Every girl. They will be taken to the sacred river. And the truth will be revealed." No one dared question him. Not even Tunde's mother. Because she knew one thing. If the villagers ever saw Tunde's mark, everything she had sacrificed would be destroyed. Meanwhile, inside the hidden room, Tunde sat alone in the darkness, unaware that the entire village had just begun hunting for him. And somewhere beyond the forest, something smiled.
The story is far from over. Subscribe to Nari Cloud Tales for Season 2. Like, comment, share and follow for more updates. The mystery of Tunde's mark has only just begun.